I remember being out recruiting out at a tournament on a far field and watching a couple teams play, some more non-traditional lacrosse areas, and walking up to the field from afar, I saw Sydni Black breaking some ankles, absolutely dominating athletically. It took me about 5 seconds of watching that game, and I was like, I need to get eyes on this kid. We need to make sure that she becomes a hound. So it didn't take long. She's got those kind of skills and talents that are immediate, and we knew coming from a non-traditional kind of hotbed of lacrosse, that's the kind of player that is going to excel with us. So that's my first memory of her, was quick, and we knew we had to have Sydni Black.
I even remember too, Jen, as we were preparing for Sydney's visit to campus, and you have so many kids visiting campus, and you feel pretty comfortable about the visit, but when we were planning for Sids, it was that excited nerve that's kind of going on. You just hope this kid has the best time on your campus, and for us at Loyola, we knew she had the lacrosse style that we wanted, and then academically Sid off the charts too. But I think the biggest thing was that potential that we saw in her, and just knowing if we could get our hands on her here at Loyola, then by the time she graduated, everybody was going to know who Sydni Black was. And then here we are with her as one of those top players in the pro league. So just so excited and so proud of this kid.
Going back to high school and recruiting, at 16, I didn't really have a dream school, because coming from a non-traditional area, I just wanted to make sure I played highest Division I lacrosse that I could, and I was just going to be grateful for wherever I could go. And then, September 1st comes around, and you get the texts and the calls. And I remember the day before 9/1, my club coach texted me and was like, "Jen Adams wants to call you. She definitely wants to talk to you." And I was in school. I'm calling my mom in the bathroom, Jen Adams is interested in me? That's crazy, because obviously at a school like Loyola, everyone knows Jen and Dana are two of the GOATs, two of the legends, two of the biggest promoters of the sport. And they always say, when you're going through recruiting, not to pick a school based on coaches, but that was really hard for me after I visited Loyola. It just felt like home, and a large part of that is because of the coaching staff. They just made me feel like I'd have no problem being myself, could play however I wanted. I knew they would get me prepped to be the best player that I could, which is, I think, kind of rare going into college, with that transparency early on when you're 16, 17, whatever it is. And then getting there for 4 years and playing for them, none of that really changed. And they instantly became two of my biggest role models and mentors, which is, I'm incredibly grateful to say that two of the best in the game ever, and forever, will always be on my side and in my corner. And transitioning to the pro level, it's the same thing. I always love getting texts from them right before the game, or even prepping me for, Champ Series, and coming up to Loyola and practicing, and them just keeping me a part of the family, which is my favorite part about it all.
Cue the tissues, Sid.
I was going to say, we got to practice after this.
When I found out that we were going to be coaching again, obviously before the draft, I didn't know if I was going to be picked on their team. I was a little bit nervous, or that I was going to be picked at all, really. So
Imagine being nervous.
When I found out that I was going to be playing for them, it's just that little kid feeling of excitement again, when I was recruited the first time, that I would get to play for the two GOATs. And it's just almost a sense of relief too, I know how they like to coach, I know they know how I like to play, and to be able to go out there and put on a fun product for the entire world to see live on ESPN, for younger girls to watch us, people who are Loyola super fans to get to see us all together on the same field again, it's going to be insane.
One of the coolest parts of all that is the thought of getting to coach the caliber and talent. Obviously, I've got some Loyola players that I coach, but to mix the sideline up, and just the sheer amount of talent on that sideline on either team, it is mind-blowing. And we're moved into a place where I think in women's sports in general, but specifically women's lacrosse, you've got, in the past you have an athletic player that stands out, you have a skilled player that stands out, you have a player that just got the mentality, the it factor, and that's why they stand out. And then you had the work ethic and the people that put the time and the effort and the energy in when other people wouldn't. And I think the coolest part is, you're going to come out and you're going to watch 36 players that have all of those check boxes, and you know, obviously Sydney's one of them, but just I look at that lineup and that roster and I think about the sport of women's lacrosse. And, you know, Sydney can talk about, you know, Dana or myself and flatter us with all those things, but this is the new wave and the sport is so exciting and it's in such good hands. And to see the WLL take this level of talent and just absolutely put on a platform and a product that helps expose all of those things I talked about, that's just the neatest thing for me. And to get a call up to be a part of it, said I would have been the water gal. They'll probably need a lot of that tomorrow here in Kansas City, but anything to be a part of it, I just love it. I love seeing these players and the excitement they still have. Love to hear that they still get, you know, nervous about things like getting drafted and playing. That's how it should be. It's really cool for the sport.
Yeah.
And I know too, like, as Jen and I have like continued to push women's lacrosse to be on the highest stage and the best level possible, a big part of that was like in order to grow the game, and you really have to change the game. And being a part of like rule changes and discipline changes, one thing that never changed was the athleticism or the skill or the speed of these athletes. So to have this WLL and to have this competition and this rule set and this platform is just so exciting to see that finally these women's lacrosse players are getting the stage that they've always deserved. And you know, as players that retire out of it and are fortunate enough to continue to coach, you know, I think we have the best seat in the house, Jen, tomorrow to just be on the sideline and to watch some of the best lacrosse be on display, and we get that front row seat, so we're pretty lucky. The biggest question, Sid, is going to be like, we've been preparing a lot of these moves, whether it's the air gate or the crease dive, like what should everyone be prepared and ready to see hopefully on SportsCenter at the end of this All-Star game?
A lot of stuff.
Kent the pickup, backhand feed, North through the legs! She wasn't even looking at the goal!
I think that the creativity is just going to come to play with all these new rules. Like you said, the crease dive, that's probably what I'm most excited about. I think I'm pretty quick to get in, but sometimes I get cut off by the crease itself. So I know Jen and I worked on some of that yesterday even, but crease dives, swim moves, BTBs, all the crazy stuff, all the fun stuff. Perfect for TV.
You know, it's crazy. Like, I think back to like me playing in college. Now I'm dating myself, well and truly. But like, you saw a female lacrosse player throw a BTB back in the day, and it was like awe-inspiring. Now it's just as basic as a righty or lefty regular throw, and it's like to just keep seeing the innovation and these players like Sydney just keep pushing the envelope, thinking outside the box, training and challenging themselves to do something new and exciting. Like, it is wild to think even at this stage in lacrosse that people are pulling out new moves on the field, and I know we love to coach that way, and I'm excited to see all the players have the confidence and the ability obviously to stretch the game and push it to new limits. And I think this game just offers, you know, exponential opportunity for that, which I think is so cool for players like you said. I think you would agree, like, you know, the rules and everything else allow you the freedom to just be the badass that you are, which is so cool.
Standard just always gets raised every time at an event like this, the level that we play at nowadays, and started with both of you too, for us as women and athletes in the sport of lacrosse to be able to just try this stuff out. I mean, I remember, Dana, that everyone talks about that Twizzler from the 10, 12 meter basically during the World Cup a couple years ago.
We're thankful it hit the net.
I mean, it stung the corner, so hit the net's an understatement, but like things like that, it's just, all right, what can I do to top that now? Which is like really healthy competition, especially for as a viewer, just getting to see all that inspires kids to go out in the backyard and just try a bunch of new stuff. And you see it now, I'm sure it's coaches recruiting at these tournaments, kids are just whipping out crazy new moves at all of these places, so it's pretty cool.
Sid, that's my question for you. Like, I know our biggest dream as players growing up was to finally, you know, get a chance to be on a platform like ESPN and to be on TV and to get on those SportsCenter highlights. But you looking forward into the future, like, what is your vision for, I'm not even going to say women's lacrosse, because to me, like, lacrosse is lacrosse. So what is kind of your vision for lacrosse for that next generation?
Oh, that's just going to be the standard. You know, you see a lot of Sports Center top 10 plays nowadays, and it's kind of like awesome. Like, we got there, like lacrosse is on the big stage, but at the same time, you know, we've been doing this for years. And so for us to get that recognition is awesome, especially, you know, with the support and help of ESPN as backing the league. But I think that, you know, 5-10 years from now, it's just going to be as common as, you know, seeing LeBron one hand slam it, you know, for the Lakers. And it'll be really cool that that'll be the new norm.
And fun that these young kids, right, growing up, they're talking about women's lacrosse players they want to emulate, you know. Back in the day, it's like following men's lacrosse players like Gary Gate and, you know, Paul Gate and these players that were just so, you know, insane that they're the people you wanted to follow. And now it's like, it's you guys. It's you. It's you.
It's so cool.
You know, split dodging like a wide receiver, and, you know, lacrosse players and fans across the globe saying, like,
I want to dodge like Sydni Black.
Like that, you know? And
It's
bringing
really cool.
it to the sport. And I think that's
Really cool.
that's the neat part, right? That's the cool part, is these young kids have someone to look up to, poster on their wall, female lacrosse player, and be like, that's who I want to be when I grow up. I want to be Sydni Black. I want to be Sam Puza. I want to be Charlotte North, Izzy Skate. Like, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's super humbling. Like, even at Champ Series back in February, you had all these little boys lining up, and all of them wanted our signatures and was like, you had such a great game. It was so cool watching you play. Like, how'd you do that move? How'd you do that shot? And that's just what happens when you give women the platform they deserve. We've always had the skill. We've always had the athleticism, always had the talent. And with a league like the WLL, now everyone can kind of see that for themselves.
As they should. Champ Series, I was lining up to get your autograph.
Jen, going into tomorrow after like drafting this whole team, like, what are you most excited about to kind of be the head coach for this whole squad you put together?
Well, I think it's kind of funny because, you know, I'm very honored to be able to stand on that sideline, but I don't plan to have to do a whole lot of coaching. I mean, you've got just the most incredible minds and players in the game that I hope to just help facilitate their games, to just watch it unfold. I think chemistry is huge, and you got to build quick chemistry in a situation like this. So, you know, you got a lot of players that have, I can guarantee this specific team has never played all together before. So it's just going to be exciting. Kind of joke about it, but 4th of July, I think, 7 p.m. game, you can guarantee the fireworks will be out here in Kansas City on the lacrosse field. So I just think for anyone watching, whether they're at ESPN, watching at home, whether they're out live watching the game, I can guarantee that you're going to see the best platform and version of lacrosse. The most incredible players who are just going to be playing free, again, connecting and showing what this sport's all about, which I love.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that you have 32 of the best players in the world here on this stage in Kansas City, and it's just gonna, like you said, sparks are gonna fly probably. You're gonna see some insane lacrosse, which I'm really pumped to see. A lot of these girls I've never gotten to play with, and some I have, but looking up to pretty much all of them at some point in my career, it's gonna be really awesome to get a chance to get on the field with them, either with them or against them. You know, I've never played with Sam Puzo. She's a big one for me. And then playing against people like Dempsey, people who I've idolized forever. I don't think you're gonna see any bad lacrosse at all tomorrow.
No. And I know for me, like, when the championship series ended, like, I think I went through like a little like depression there when those games were over, because you just want more and more.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's game, this one-off, is just gonna be such a great preview for what's ahead and the future of women's professional lacrosse. And the game running time is going to go too quick. So just like me on the sideline, I think everybody watching is going to want some more. So let's just give them a little taste of what's to come.
Give her.